gone. Severe weather relentlessly assaults the planet.
Record heat, record drought, record flooding. This is not a world we want to get into.
Crop failure, mass migration, riots, extinction. Global warming. Two words that often invoke dire predictions of the planet's future. But is this really our destiny?
This is the most serious of environmental problems. It's the one that we need to solve now.
We head to all corners of the globe.
The size of the population has declined. The future doesn't look good.
Speak with leading scientists.
Coral bleaching events are clearly telling us that reefs are in trouble.
And examine the evidence to find out what global warming really means, and if rising temperatures can truly make a difference between the world we know today and a world we may not recognize tomorrow.
Years ago, climate scientists were discussing whether the Earth was cooling down or warming up. Now, a vast majority of those scientists believe that global warming is real and it's having a dangerous impact on the planet that we inhabit. What caused those scientists to change their minds? What evidence did they uncover? And what have they determined about the future that you need to know?
We start here in the ice fields of Patagonia. Sandwiched in the valleys of the Andes Mountains between Chile and Argentina, the Patagonian ice field is the largest expanse of ice outside of Antarctica and Greenland, covering almost 7,000 square miles and extending all the way to the Pacific Ocean.
When I was here in 1998, this lake was completely full of icebergs. We couldn't get our boat to the ice front, and you can see most of the icebergs now have melted.
Glaciologist Stefan Harrison and his colleagues have studied the ice fields for almost 2 decades. Here, hundreds of glaciers, some more than a half-mile thick, have survived many periods of climate warming since the last ice age ripped the Earth. But in the last 7 years, these glaciers have lost 10% of their mass.
20,000 years ago, this valley was much more covered in ice than it is now. The reason why we think climate change is so significant now, though, it's happening at a historically fast rate.
Rapid melting is not happening just to the glaciers of Patagonia. In the United States, one of the nation's most famous landmarks, northern Montana's Glacier National Park, may soon lose the very thing it was named for.
Some of these glaciers are 5,000 to 8,000 years old, yet they're melting so rapidly they could vanish in my lifetime.
Once there were more than 150 glaciers here. Today, there are fewer than 40. As these before and after pictures dramatically show, glaciers that took thousands of years to form are disintegrating in only decades. And it's happening from the Andes to Alaska.
I've heard a lot of people say, hey, global warming, bring it on. I live up here in northern Montana. I'll be able to swim in this lake in April.
If all it meant was slightly milder winters in the north, probably a lot of people would be for it. But that's not what's at stake. We're talking about remaking the world in very dangerous ways.
At the eastern end of the Antarctic Peninsula, a massive ice shelf juts into the ocean. Known as Larsen B, this plate of ice has been in deep freeze for the past 12,000 years. But in the summer of 2002, something unprecedented happens. Larsen B completely collapses. A chunk the size of Rhode Island falls into the sea. scientists are stunned. Something unusual is happening to ice all over the world.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Nicely done.
The glaciers of Patagonia are literally melting before Harrison's eyes, carving rivers through the ice, cooling into lakes, and tunneling holes that burrow hundreds of feet into the heart of the glacier. Harrison rappels into one of these holes to get a closer look at what's happening inside the ice.
Wow. The color's amazing.
Harrison is not surprised by what he finds. More water.
You know, this looks like a solid world, but in fact, actually, all the ice here is melting. There's water running through the bottoms of these ice caves. You can hear waterfalls in the background. This is basically a watery landscape, and this ice is actually melting very, very rapidly.
To Dr. Harrison, melting ice is the canary in the coal mine, an undeniable sign that global warming is happening now. But ice also tells scientists something else just as crucial: when global warming has occurred in the past. The ice is a logbook of the Earth's climate going back hundreds of thousands of years.